you one thing, if a little green man pops out of me, I'm shooting first and asking questions later.
You are on the verge of destroying the entire universe.
Welcome to the Strange Podcast with Sam and Logan.
If you enjoy the show, please go to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you're listening, and please give us a good rating. If you want to share a story or have ideas for a future episode, you're welcome to visit us at www.thestrangepodcast.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome to The Strange Podcast. This is episode 38, and I'm Logan Marks.
And I'm Sam Baxter. Today's July 14th, 2018.
Oh, man, what a week. What a week.
And it's hot, isn't it?
I can't fucking stand it, dude.
It's too much, man.
It's like, it was like 103 today.
103 for you guys?
Damn. Yeah, that's what they said anyway. I don't even look anymore because I don't even want to know what it is.
Yeah, I know.
But every time people come in, they keep telling me, it's a fucking 103 today. Like,
oh, man, that's gross. You guys have air conditioning in your store?
Yeah, we do have air conditioning, but like I have to go outside a lot, fill propane and things like that.
Oh, shit, so you're in the heat.
So I go out in the heat. Like this week's been just for torture. And then the other day, I was driving home, and my front left tire blew out. So
anyone not wondering, so we're doing our show 2 days later than we normally do, and this is why. So what happened?
So the front left tire blew out. So I go off the side of the road, trying to save trying not to fly off the road.
Sure. And
when it did, I was like, okay, it's like 100 degrees outside. I'm like, crap. So I go out there. I'm like, I'm just going to change the tire and I'll be home. So I go there, get the tire, I go pull it out.
The spare's flat.
Fucking, no. The spare was flat.
So I was like, oh, there's a woodchuck living in this tire.
Because we had just gotten the car like 3 months ago.
Oh, shit. It was flat?
So it's not a brand new car. It was an older used car. I bought it for real.
God.
I
gotcha.
So it was like, when I pulled it out, I was like, oh shit, I should have checked this tire when we first got it.
I know.
Sure it had
fuck, man.
But then I'm like, okay, so I go and I was like, well, let me just go like take the tire, get it filled, and come back. But when I went to check the engine and try to turn it on, and the car wouldn't start.
Oh, what the fuck?
When I looked under where the tire was at. The wire, like when it hit the road, the tire went into like where underneath the hood of the engine's at, and it pulled a bunch of the wires out.
The fuck is kind
and it just shredded the shit out of them. So like the car won't, like it turns out like it's on, the lights are on, but it won't start the engine.
What the fuck is this? A DeLorean? Like what is this? Is that shitty? What the fuck?
I know it should have went over 88 miles.
I know. So it fucked up your car?
So so I had to get it paid to get towed. So I towed it, and now I got to tow it to the mechanics to get it fixed. Yeah.
Dang, man.
So I can see if I can get it fixed.
So you haven't taken it there yet?
No, because I had nowhere to go, because it was like 7 to 8. No, it was like 9 o'clock at night almost.
So how'd you get to work like the last couple days?
My wife she left to Colorado.
Okay.
So I've been driving her car.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So we don't have a car right now. We have only one car.
Wait a minute. So you're at home by yourself?
No, I have to go to work. So.
No, I know, but I'm saying that like the wife's gone. There's nobody there.
Oh no, she got back today.
Oh, so the party's over. No,
party's over. Yeah.
Damn. So you got to go get that car fixed. Damn. I bet it's gonna be a shitty bill.
So, yeah, it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be quite a bit of money to get it back into shape.
So you might as well bought a new car then, huh?
No, because like I only paid like $1,000 for the car.
Oh, I gotcha.
It's a decent car. Just the tire was good. I noticed when I was driving, it was going out of alignment, and I think because I was trying to compensate too much for it. Because I was like, oh man, I got to take this into. I was gonna take it in the next day.
Oh dang, you went one day too late, huh?
Yeah, I know. So if I would have made it home, then
shit,
I might have been able to just get the car line. It would have been done. But
no, it's an extra $5,000 or something.
No, it'll probably be like after everything. It'll probably be another like $1,000 to fix it, which $2,000.
That's not too bad.
It's
not bad. It's just inconvenient.
Yeah,
very inconvenient, and it's hot.
Very inconvenient. Yeah, it's hot, and then just having to get to work because my commute's like a half hour.
Gotcha. I mean. And it's you have to drive. It's not like you're sitting in town. It's not like you can take a bus to work. So
Yeah.
Well, man, get that car fixed, man.
Yeah. So what have you been doing this week?
This week, man, I've just been doing a lot of work. Had a lot of work to do at work. I've been working late, and it was kind of, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of a blessing when you told me, hey, I'm gonna have to cancel tonight.
You're like, okay.
I was like, all right, no problem.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's just been busy. A lot of things to do, a lot of code to write, and so I've had to do stuff like that at work. I got a big project coming up, so it kind of helped it. We had an extra day or two for me to, because I worked late just a few days, and I got to go in early, so it's not really my cup of tea doing that. But
did you get your TPS reports filled out?
Yeah, I know. Had all my managers.
It's like, we're gonna have to need you to come in on a Saturday.
And then on Sunday too. All right. That movie was so good. Office Space. It just, back then, I didn't appreciate it when I was just a youngin'. But working in an office and dealing with other people, it's like, oh my god, this shit's so on point. Like it's so unbelievable. That's what made that movie good. It was ahead of its time. It was just the problems that people have in the office. You just, if you've never worked in one and you think, yeah, I'd like to have a job where I don't have to use my back and I just, sit in an office and it's all great. It's not always that great, man. You got to deal with other people.
Shit.
Yeah, you got to deal with politics and just so many rules. And, I mean, I'm not saying I hate it. Don't get me wrong, but it's a lot, man. And Office Space just summed it up. If anyone hasn't seen Office Space, go watch it.
Go check it out.
Yeah, Mike Judge did some good shit.
I was watching that on YouTube. They had like Terry Crews on there, and he was talking about all this like all the guys that he played, all his roles and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good. It was like a half hour long. And
I like Terry Crews.
Mm-hmm. It was pretty interesting. And then he was talking about because the guy who made Office Space also made that Idiocracy. And he was like that Gamacho president.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was the president on there.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I haven't watched that show. A lot of people told me, and I started watching it one time, and I fell asleep just because it was too late. It was like 2 a.m. It wasn't that it wasn't good, but I just fell asleep, and I forgot to go back and watch it. But there's another show he does. Have you ever seen Silicon Valley? Oh, man. That show is also funny. Again, it's another techie, but kind of like, it's in Silicon Valley, and it has to deal with just a bunch of, like, dickheads. They're like dickheads. One guy's like, these two coders, and they just antagonize each other, and one of them's just a total dick. It is so fun.
I see some of the episodes. They're pretty good.
It is a good show.
That's one on HBO, right?
Yeah, it's on HBO.
Yeah.
So I had HBO. I had HBO free for last weekend for viewing, and I watched all the season in like 4 hours. It's like I got this weekend to watch it. Yeah, I got to catch up.
You're on a mad dash trying to watch it.
I watched them all, man. They're half-hour episodes, and it was great. So, anybody hasn't seen that Silicon Valley? It's also a good show.
I have to try to watch more episodes because we do have the HBO, but I just rarely watch anything on there.
Oh, really? You should do it, man. You should just start watch for season 1. Just their first algorithm they do about jerking off and how it and how they write a real algorithm and they figure out like
how frequently everybody does.
No, like how many dicks could the one guy do? Like he's like, yeah, he could jerk off like 2 dicks. It would take him like 4 minutes. He's like, well, wait a minute. Like, are you going front like forward, like straight forward, or are you like skiing? And they're like, well, if you do that, well, if you use 2 hands, you could like ski and you'd have 2 dicks, and then you could cover more, and then they start they start going on, exactly what it goes, and they start figuring out like in like a day, like in 6 hours, how many dicks could he like jerk off, before at a certain amount of time. And they solve a real problem by doing that. They do.
That's important work.
It was, man. I'm serious. They write a real algorithm. They figure it out. Like, and they, you have to figure out, like the motion, like how quick are you going up and down, or are you like laying down, or are you sideways, like how many pumps can you get in,
Damn, all accurate. And,
you have to. I mean, when you're writing code, you have to be so. And that's figuring all that out, it just worked. It was fucking funny. And so the show's just good. Like I said, they're just dipshits.
Yeah,
they're smart, but
well, speaking of dipshits, we should probably get into the
strange news. Yeah, there's a couple dipshits that we got coming up for you.
Yeah, I got some good ones. I think this week.
All right.
So when we come back, we'll be going into strange news, and we'll see you in a little bit.
It's time for strange news.
So speaking of jerking off, this one right here, man, for all you guys, this is shitty, but this is real news. A teenager got a USB cable stuck in his penis. So,
like the whole.
So no, hold on, listen
the whole
to this.
thing, even like the USB part.
Listen to this, man.
All right.
A 13-year-old boy from China was curious about his genitalia, and for some reason decided that the best way to satisfy his curiosity was to slowly insert a phone charger through his urethral orifice. So he managed 7.8 inches, or for those of you who aren't American, 20 centimeters, into his urethra. So I know that's fucking uncomfortable right there. So he went to the hospital, and the practitioners tried to lubricate the cable to get it out. They couldn't, so they had to take him to another hospital they had to
dick tools at the
No, there's no dick tools, man. I mean, because he cut off one end of the cable and inserted it into his urethra, so it reached his bladder where it got tangled up in a knot in there.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and so when he tried to pull it out, it became stuck. So they had to do surgery and fucking take it out that way. And yeah, he removed the part. Did a surgery incision, removed that part, and the rest of it was able to come out to the urethra. And he was a few weeks in the hospital, and he finally got discharged. But man, I'm not sure why you would do that.
I wonder if you plug it into the phone, if it would charge it.
Well, no, they cut the cable. It doesn't work, man. Cut the top. That shit's fucking... Unless he splices another head on there. That cable's shot, man. That fucking kid. I don't know... Oh, God, man.
I guess when you're young and curious...
I understand curious, but...
Anything can happen.
Does this kid not feel pain? I mean, can you imagine that? I'm just telling you the story, and you're just cringing. I'm cringing saying it. And
I've heard there's people that they like that.
I know
that sensation. I don't know. You'd have to, because that's the only way I could think you could stick it in there.
There's no way. I don't know. I cannot relate to that. That is out of my wheelhouse. So, so anyway, that's what I got for this fucking kid.
Well, speaking of private parts, I got a story where well, you've been in love and you got married, right? You had to propose to your wife and do all
we're just living in sin.
All the steps to get all the steps for entrapment.
Yep.
Well, this woman decided that she wanted to propose to her boyfriend. So she was planning on asking her boyfriend to marry her. So she decided to place an engagement ring inside a Kinder Easter egg, and then she took that egg and she inserted it into her vagina.
What?
So that night she was gonna seduce him, and she seduced him. She suggested, we'll do some finger work in there, and she thought when he goes in there to play around, he'll discover something.
Yeah, be a little
retrieve
kinky.
it. Yeah, when you retrieve it, he'll pull it out, and she'll get on one knee and then open the Kinder egg, and then there's a ring, right? Mm-hmm. And she would propose to him. But when it got stuck in there, it basically, the egg turned sideways. Oh. So it got stuck in her vagina. So the couple had to take her to the hospital, and they had to remove it from there.
Oh shit!
And so once they removed it, they gave the boyfriend the egg, and she proposed to him, and he said yes.
You're too crazy, bitch. I'm out. Fuck you. No.
He must have liked that kink.
Damn, man.
He was afraid that since she went through all that shit, he had to see.
Yeah, I know. Fuck, I guess I'm obligated. Okay.
All these people watching him.
In the operation room. It's like those people you seen on the jumbotron when somebody, a guy asks a woman to marry her, she just takes off running. And the guys, everyone's just like, oh. Man, that's horrible, man. It could have been that way, huh? I got this shit stuck in my pussy. You better marry me.
You gotta marry me now.
No, my brother.
Oh man, I don't know why people keep sticking things up there.
I don't know, man. Remember we talked about that fucking bee, that nest shit that women were putting in there. Now this 13-year-old kid just sticking shit up his dick. What's the point, man?
I don't know. I guess it's just.
I'm too old-fashioned, man. I don't get it. I'm too old-fashioned. That shit does not compute with me.
I just stick to butt plugs. And
yeah,
that's
no. I just old-fashioned gag balls. and Benoit balls.
Those beads.
Yeah, the Benoit balls. That's all.
Back in my day, we knew how to take care of business.
Yeah. So speaking of another, some more strange news. This Arizona man, he tried to pull over some state troopers. This guy he got arrested. So Arizona authorities say that a 44-year-old uniformed security guard is accused of impersonating a police officer by trying to pull over an unmarked car that happened to contain 2 state troopers patrolling a Phoenix freeway. So this guy, yeah, I know. So they said this guy, he was driving his personal black Dodge Charger on Wednesday when he activated law enforcement style emergency lights on his car to pull over the troopers' yellow Ford Mustang. But according to the department, the troopers wouldn't pull over. So he drove alongside them and waved a hand over to get them to pull over before they activated their own lights and pulled him over.
Surprise.
Yeah, I know. So this fucking guy got arrested. There's a picture of him and everything. I don't know what the hell this guy was trying to do. I mean, I don't know what the point is. What's the point? What could you gain from this?
I don't know. He probably thought it'd be funny. Remember that one story with that 14-year-old kid? Was,
yeah, but I get that, man. You're a kid, man. You think you're tough. You're trying to get likes on YouTube.
He's probably like one of those like security guards who wants to be a cop.
Yeah, he couldn't pass the test and stuff. Yeah, I'm fucking better than any cop.
He was like Chief Wiggum's where he
yeah, I know Chief Wiggum. I know. It's all shitty, and at least Chief's an actual cop. This guy's not, man.
I know. Good job, boy.
I know. This guy's a fucking security guard. So, sorry, guy, you fucked up.
Talking about people that are pulling out fake shit. According to the report, this man came in to a gas station and he bought like an 18-pack of natural ice, 2 payday bars, and an Almond Joy, and he paid with a $100 bill, and he got like $86.42 in change.
Okay.
But normal thing.
Okay.
But after the guy left, the cashier looked and he realized that the $100 bill was fake, and it was one of those for motion picture only dollar bills.
Like the studios use for movies?
Yeah. Because you can buy them, I think, on Amazon.
Uh-huh.
You can buy packs of those fake bills.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, I remember looking them up because you can buy them, but they have like the for
it says on there that
look,
not real currency probably.
Yeah, not yeah. So but apparently
this guy fucking took it.
The guy took it because you usually mark them, and you can tell it's a fake.
Well, I wonder why he didn't.
But
do
apparently, barely took it, and so now the police are wanting help to identify the man who used the fake $100 bill to buy beer and candy.
So could the guy say, "Hey, I worked for the studio. I accidentally used this," and get off on it? Because is it really his fault that the fucking guy didn't check?
I don't know. They showed the video, and the guy's like just giving him the $100 bill, and he's like, he actually holds it up to the light, and he talks to the cashier talks to him and stuff, and he pays for it with it.
Damn. So it got by his fantastic eye, didn't it? Nothing usually gets by him, huh?
They only hire the best at that place.
Oh man. So here's a different one. This is kind of different. A semi driver crashes on the highway while trying to swat a fly. So a semi-driver tried to swat a fly that flew in through his window and ended up crashing on the highway. So troopers came in at Interstate 65 in Indiana at 9:35 a.m. on Thursday when the fly flew into the cab of a semi-truck to the window. So when the semi-driver tried to swat the bug, it distracted him enough that he hit the guardrail on the side of the road, and truck tumbled over, just fucking went end over. And he dropped 42,000 pounds of plastic rolls onto the roadway. Oh, shit. Yeah. It's fucking plastic everywhere. There's a picture of it. It's plastic fucking for miles all over the place.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So traffic was diverted while cleanup operations went away. The truck driver, he declined medical attention, but he was cited for unsafe lane movement. So luckily nobody was hurt. Maybe the fly was. I don't know. Probably not. It seems like the fly got away, but this fucking truck, there's just shit. There's just... If you look it up, there's like fucking plastic everywhere on that road.
Oh, damn.
All for a fly. I mean, we've been driving and you see a fly. Sometimes like, oh, God, I got to get this annoying fly out. and the fly, you can't seem to get it, right?
Yeah, you're all like rolling down the window.
Yeah, you're trying
hoping
to get
and
it.
it never fucking gets
It
out.
doesn't
It's
get
like all,
out.
like,
You
right
put it
by the
up, and
window.
it's still there. It's like, fuck. Just last week, I was outside with a guy from work, and he was smoking. I was talking to him, and this bee stayed all around my head. And I kept moving, man. I kept moving. You know, I try not to swat at the bees because, you know, they tend to, like, get more aggressive. And every time I move, that fucking bee just followed me. And I was like, I
It's all in love with you.
It was, man. I couldn't get away from it. So I empathize with this guy, but man, that sucks.
It reminds me of the movie, like that Final Destination. All this weird little shit happens and it kills people.
Oh yeah, that's right. Poor truck driver. I'm sure no flies were hurt during the making of the story.
during the crash into that car. So I got a story of a West Virginia woman bit off the tip of another woman's index finger around midnight Wednesday because the victim was twerking in her on her face.
Twerking on her face? How the fuck was she twerking on her face?
I don't know.
Was she laying down?
So Letitia Barrett, 31, was charged with malicious wounding after what had begun as a verbal argument with an acquaintance. So apparently she knew the person that was twerking at her.
Okay.
And it escalated into a physical altercation. A prosecutor at the arraignment said the fight started when the victim began twerking on Barrett, upsetting her to the point that she bit the lady's finger. The victim was rushed to the hospital for medical treatment.
Yeah, I feel like if she was that mad, she would have probably bit her ass cheek or something. How did she get the finger?
I don't know. That's what I was wondering too. Because if she's all like backing her thing up and just shaking her ass at her,
Yeah.
you think, like, the butt, your ass would be the first thing you'd bite.
No, it was not. It just fucking bit her finger. Maybe she started, waving her finger in her face, because that usually pisses people off, right?
But when you get the ass cheeks in there, you're
Yeah.
gonna cause some damage.
Fucking twerking in her face. What a way to piss somebody off.
I know.
Kiss my ass.
Taking it to the all new level.
Yeah, kiss my ass. So I got one for all you mailmen out there. So tomato stealing squirrel turns out to be a mailman. So a Quebec family set up a camera to catch a suspected squirrel stealing the tomatoes and made a shocking discovery. The culprit was the mailman. So I guess they had a plant outside their house, and one was strawberries and one was tomatoes. And I guess they had, it was pretty good plants. They were providing, quite a bit of tomatoes and stuff. But they noticed like the tomatoes were starting to disappear and the strawberries. But they thought, okay, it's probably a squirrel. But they got a little bit suspicious because it was never a mess, Like usually if an animal's eating it, they might be droppings of it.
half-eaten ones.
And stuff like that. Yeah. But nothing. There was nothing like that. So I thought something seems awry. Like, let's set up a camera. So they did. And they saw that it was the mailman. He was fucking just typing their shit, man.
Fucking mailman, getting your wife pregnant and taking your tomatoes.
I know. So they said they didn't want the postman fired, but they would like an apology for his rude behavior. And and they said quote, this is a quote, it would have been okay if he took a couple as a quick snack or let us know as a joke he took a couple and they tasted great. But he took so many and did not notify us that there was pretty much nothing left for us to eat.
He's like filling his mail bag full of just tomatoes, strawberries.
Get all kinds of mail like strawberries.
Shit, I could go sell this at the farmer's
I
market.
know. So the guy at the home, he says, all would be forgiven if the mailman offers to replace the plants or brings them some tomato sauce or strawberry pie. So all those strawberry, you better be taking those to make us some sauce, motherfucker.
I know.
I want to
He's
buy.
all just used. Well, I can't. I'll just use them to throw at kids.
I know. So yeah, he says I will be forgiven. Just bring us some fucking sauce or a pie. So if I were that mailman, I would go buy some Prego.
Just bring it in, putting it in like a shitty little jar.
Yeah, put it in some
homemade.
Tupperware.
There you go.
And make
a
it
secret recipe.
Yeah, here's that sauce from your fucking tomato plants.
That he must have been taking a lot of them for them to notice.
Yeah, and like they said, I guess like I said, the plant was providing abundant tomatoes and some of the strawberries, but they were just gone, and they was like, what the fuck, Like there should be some remnants if it was a squirrel or something.
Like they don't give me a lunch break, so I just kind of
I know. I know he's all red faced when he comes home. Fucking sauce all over his face. So you mailman out there, you know, better be careful.
So I got a story about a lady in New Mexico. Police arrested a woman. They were saying hurt 3 police officers who were conducting a welfare check at a gas station late Saturday night. The officers were dispatched to a gas station because there was a woman that was laying in their parking lot. And they called the cops to have her come down and check to see if she was okay. They identified her as 31-year-old Candy Luna Santana, who was sleeping near the entrance of the gas station. But when the officers arrived and found her sleeping, they went in to go wake her up and to make sure she was okay. And when they did, Santana became super angry and grabbed one of the officers by the neck and started scratching him and spit in his face.
Oh, shit.
And so the officers attempted to take Santana into custody, but Santana kicked one of them in the nuts and then headbutted the other. Oh, shit. So this little 31-year-old lady's like just beating the shit out of these 3 cops.
The cops? What the fuck?
It says, but the cops weren't too seriously injured. It took 3 of them to fucking take her down and cuff her.
What the fuck, man? This girl like 400 pounds or what? Like, what the fuck?
No, the picture of her, she's not very big at all. So, man, she must be a little ass kicker.
Damn, little firecracker, huh?
Yeah. So Santana's being charged with 4 counts of battery to a peace officer and charged with 4th-degree felony counts.
Damn. Damn, tough girl, man.
I know. I'm surprised she didn't get shot. 'Cause usually, if you do that kind of shit, you get tased and shot.
Yeah,
man.
I know. There's been people shot for less. So
yeah.
Lucky Santana, you didn't. They didn't beat you. They didn't fuck you up.
They call her the ball breaker.
I know. The cop killer. That's fucked up, man. I can't believe that. So I got one last little one. That the only reason I'm telling this story is because I can relate to this. But Ontario woman accidentally steals car for 2 weeks, mistaking it for a rental. So this lady right here, she rented a black Nissan Sentra from an Enterprise Rent-A-Car in Ontario, Canada. So she went to like the local Walmart there, and she did some grocery shopping. So after she came out, she saw her vehicle, went inside, hopped in, and just took off. You know, drove away. Well, it turns out that the car that she was in was not a rental, but actually like another. It was a 2015 Black Infiniti QX50. So it was, they're made by the same company, right? Nissan.
Yeah, yeah.
And so she'd gotten to the wrong car, but what they found out was that because both cars use a key fob, the car that she got into was an old elderly man's, and he left the fob in his vehicle. So when she just got in, she just hit the button, and it turned on. Right? So she didn't think anything of it. And she got in, and she just drove away. She had it for 2 weeks, man.
She didn't notice that the radio station was different, or like there's different stuff laying around.
They must have. If it was a rental, I mean, she probably had.
I guess probably didn't pay attention.
Yeah, she didn't. Maybe she dropped all her stuff already at the hotel, and then she was going in there to get some groceries, and it's probably maybe his car was clean, like hers was probably clean, like when you get it from a car rental agency.
Yeah, it's true.
So the only thing I can think of is because I'm old, and like in the 90s, I remember going to the movies with a friend, and he had a teal Ford Escort. And you don't see those too often, and I don't know why he had it, but he did. And we went to the movies. So when we came out of the movie, it was nighttime, and we jumped in his car. We went to his car. He unlocked the doors with, he unlocked it with his key, and we got in, and I got in, and we were like just kind of talking about the movie, and he put the key in the ignition, and it turned once, but it wouldn't turn over. We're like, what the hell? He's like, what the fuck? Like, I can't turn on my car. I'm like, what? What are you talking about, man? And we were just kind of like, no, man, it doesn't turn on. And we're like, fuck, what the hell's going on? And we were in there for 2-3 minutes trying to figure out, maybe it was locked, the ignition was locked somehow or something. And we looked in his car, and it was it was a woman's car. Like in the back seat, it was some other woman's car. She had all her clothes and all this stuff. And we're like, holy shit, this isn't even my car. so
everybody out.
Yeah, so we got out, and the girl was coming in. She's like, she was freaked out. We're like, hey, we explained to her that he has the same car, same shitty, ugly teal hatchback. And for some reason the keys worked. They both worked in each one, and they both went in the ignition, and it turned once, but it wouldn't turn over completely. And if it did, we would have just taken off in her car.
Well, that actually happened to me.
Oh, it did?
But I took off in the car.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, dude, this is back when they had Future Shop. Remember Future Shop, the store?
Future
So
Shop.
I was at Future Shop. I get out. I park. I go to the store. I come back out and I get into the car. Right, open the door with my key. I start the engine and I take off. And when I'm driving, I'm noticing like it's like on a country station. I was like, "What the hell?
What is this bullshit?"
Who would come in here and change my station?" And I'm driving a little bit. I'm going to,
Did they change it from your Christian rock?
change my Christian rock, and it's all country now. And then so like I look around, and like I'm noticing like this. Hey, this isn't my stuff. Like
These aren't my guns. That's not my dead body I had in there.
Where's my meth at?
I know.
So yeah, so like I'm like, what the hell? So like I drive around the block and I drive back, and I went back into the parking lot, and I noticed that there's a big van that was in between my car, which was which was further away from the store, and then where I had pulled the car out was the other Ford Tempo that I took off it.
Oh shit!
So I was like, no wonder I didn't see my car. That truck was blocking it, and that was the only car I saw was that one there. And
yeah,
it was crazy because the key opened the door and it turned the ignition.
Damn.
And I drove off. I drove around the block, and so I just like parked there, and
was there any change in that you could have taken? Or?
I took whatever I thought was valuable. I closed the door.
You could have took the spare tire from that fucking car.
I know. So yeah, I just closed up the door, and I went into my car, and I just took off.
You should have changed the stations, man.
I know I should have messed with them.
Yeah, you should have done that shit. Damn, that's weird. Fucking Ford.
Oh man, yeah.
That happened on both cars with Fords.
I've heard of other people that happened to other people. But it's crazy that the engine started.
Yeah, I've never experienced that, but damn, that's crazy. Especially with the keys, the key that actually has to go in versus the the fobs where you just hit the button and go.
Well, I heard a lot of the keys they're just like minor differences.
Exactly.
And some of them actually have the same key that will open back then.
Yes.
You do that.
Damn.
That's probably why it opened up.
That's crazy.
Talking about starting cars. We should probably get started on the next topic.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about cursed objects.
Cursed objects.
So this I got this idea from somebody at work. His name is Pongenia. So
Pongenia.
Yeah. So
let's hear about cursed objects.
Yeah, cursed objects. So this is thanks, Pon.
All right. So when we come back, we're going to be here to story about cursed objects. So we're going to take a break, and we'll see you when we get back.
Alright, so we're going to be talking about some cursed objects. So these are some interesting things, right? So, I remember, being younger and reading like some of those Ripley's Believe It or Not. Remember all that stuff? Some types of objects that are supposed to be like, have supernatural, ties to them.
Is it like the King Tut where they broke in there and all the people like died and stuff?
Correct.
In there?
Stuff
all
like
the people
that.
that were in there. Yeah, I always thought that was interesting.
I know, and you think there's got to be some, because they always said, well, maybe there was some type of germ in there that the people who were initially in there, they first got it, their body wasn't acclimated to it, right? So that's why they died. But yeah, so I want to be talking about some stuff like that. Okay. Certain objects, that seem mysterious, have dark energy, and whatever reasons, the unexplained forces, spirits, or entities, or curses, gravitate toward the items. So, the first object I'm going to talk about is called the Dybbuk box.
the Dybbuk box?
Dybbuk. So this is the Dybbuk box. It's basically like a wine cabinet. Mm-hmm. They made a movie of this like a few years ago. I hadn't even heard of this thing until I saw the movie about 4 or 5 years ago. I saw it. It was an okay movie.
What's the movie called? Dybbuk box or?
It might have been called like the Dybbuk.
Okay.
But so the Dybbuk box was an item originally put up for sale on eBay by a man named Kevin Manis back in September 2001, and it got sold to a guy in Missouri named Josef Nietzsche. So Nietzsche soon put the item up for sale to another guy. He put it up for sale on a guy he bought it named Jason Haxton. So Haxton's a writer, and he wrote a book called The Dybbuk Box about his experiences with the the weird, mysterious wine cabinet. And so people think of it to be haunted, and a lot of stories circulate about it, about paranormal things happening to it. So the original seller, Kevin Mannis, he gives a breakdown of kind of what happened. So Kevin Mannis talks about he bought the cabinet from an estate sale from a woman originally from Poland, and after she died, he's like, hey, he took the box back to the family and said, hey, if this belongs in your family, you guys should keep it, because the woman, she was 103 years old, she lived for a long time, and so he thought maybe it's sentimental value to you guys, and the family's nope, you take it, it's yours. And the great granddaughter told him that the grandmother, she had it stashed away and wouldn't let anyone open it. So when he tried to bring it back to them, they're like, nope, it's yours. It's yours. And they're like, he's like, okay, I just thought I'd offer. And they're like, nope. So he took it. He decided to, he has a furniture refinishing shop, and he put it in his basement. He's like, it's dirty and stuff. It hasn't been seen the light of day too often, so eventually I'll clean it up. So he had it in there, and one day he left the shop, and he left his employee there to run the shop. But he got a call from like a salesperson. It was like a frantic call saying that someone in the shop was swearing and smashing things. So he returned to the shop, and the lights in the basement were broken, and it smelled like cat urine. And the employee that was there that was doing that was smashing, he left and he never came back. So he decided, he's like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird. But he decided he was just going to clean it up and give it to his mom as a gift. So when he finally did, and his mother came to the shop, he was going to take her out to lunch. But and he gave her the Dybbuk box. He's like, here you go, Ma, happy birthday. And he had to take a quick call, so he stepped away. But another employee that was working there came and got him and said, hey man, something's wrong with your mom. So he returned back to his mom, and she was sitting in a chair, and she was just expressionless and crying and totally unresponsive. So she was rushed to the hospital, and it turned out she had a stroke and lost her ability to speak for a little bit of time. But during the time, she could only speak using like a spelling board, like point at stuff,
kind of like a Ouija board kind of thing.
Yeah, like point at letters, they had to spell. And the things that she spelled out were no gift and hate gift. That's all she would. That's what she would always say on the board. Like she's like, I don't want that fucking thing. Somehow the thing fucked her up. So he's like, fuck it, all right, I'll give it to my sister. So she yeah. Well, it's
like it fucked you up. I hate my sister.
Well, he didn't think it was like. He didn't really know, right? He's like, like whatever, like you'd be like, maybe this can't be the fucking box doing this. This must have been something that happened. Yeah. So he's just like, I want to, I don't want to give it away. I don't want to lose it. It's a nice, wine box. And I got it for a good deal. So he just gave it to his sister, and she kept it for a week and then gave it back. So then he gave it to his brother, and I guess his brother's wife, she said after 3 days, she's like, fuck it, it's yours. I don't want this. And the brother had told him that it smelled like jasmine flowers, but the wife said it smelled like cat urine. Like, I guess the smell was really strong. So his mom didn't take it.
Does the smell change depending on the person?
I don't know. That's the thing. Some people say jasmine flowers. Some say cat urine. So the mom didn't take it. Sister, brother didn't take it. So he gave it to his girlfriend, who she soon asked him to sell it for her. She's like, I don't want this thing. So he sold it to a middle-aged couple, and 3 days later, they found after he sold it to him, he found the box sitting on it at his shop saying, "This is bad. This has bad darkness." There was a sign on it, and it was returned to him. So he's like, "Fuck! I can't give this away. I can't sell it." So he just took it home. So when he took it home, it had been in his shop the whole time. But when he took it home, he had never had it at his home before, and he began to have nightmares where he was walking with a good friend, and when he looked into his friend's eyes, he saw something evil looking back. And the friend turned into a gruesome demonic hag and proceeded to beat him. And he would wake up with bruises and marks on his body. So so when his sister and brother and his brother's wife came to stay the night, all of them had the same dream, that same type of thing. And it turns out his girlfriend had the same dream when she had the box too. That's why I remember she told him, like, sell it. So I guess everybody were having this type of dream where they were getting beat up by some type of old demonic hag. So he began seeing like shadow creatures in his house, and people who visited did as well. Put the box in the storage unit outside, and there was an alert that the smoke alarm had went off. And when he investigated, there was no smoke, but the smell of cat urine was there. That it was like so strong that it permeated the whole house. So he took into his house and began searching like the internet for information about the box. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is this thing? So I guess he fell asleep and he had a bad nightmare and woke up at 4:30 in the morning feeling like something was breathing on his neck, and he could smell the jasmine flowers. And and as he felt that and he could smell that, he saw the shadow figure like lurking down the hallway. So then he says, "All right, I'm putting this on eBay, hoping somebody who knew more about paranormal would take it, and do something with it." He just didn't want it. So in 2003, he sold it to a Missouri student named Joseph Nietzsche. So Nietzsche put it back on eBay 8 months later, after his roommates had suffered insomnia and illnesses, and they had presence of dread. So he sold it too. So Nietzsche was able to sell it for $280 to Jason Haxton, who had heard about it from a student who was also one of Nietzsche's roommates. So then now Jason has it, and Haxton was the final owner. He's the final owner of the Dybbuk box. So he claims he experienced paranormal activity in the presence of the box. But he also says it had anti-aging effects on him. I don't know how. Yeah, and like some fountain of youth or something. I don't know, but he wasn't. I guess he wasn't aging. But he claims he experienced welts and hives when he first had the box, and he was even coughing up blood and choking. And he said touching it almost put him into a liquid state. And he relates that while he had the box, he'd see strange lights and shadows. So he decided, like, I'm going to get some help from some real people. I'm going to go to some scientists, paranormalists, Kabbalists, Wiccans,
somebody might have answers.
Yeah, because I don't know what this is. So he believes the force contained in the cabinet is a neutral, but like a neutral force, but plays off whoever comes in contact with it. And its ultimate goal is to understand and reveal the truth, and that it was seeking the right owner to help it. So he thinks all the people, they were thinking like maybe it's some type of spirit in there that needs the right type of person to own it.
I wonder why there's like different smells. Like if it
I don't
kind of
know.
liked you, maybe like good smells.
That's what I wondered too. But I mean,
yeah, that's just kind of interesting the way that like,
exactly. You're either
like,
gonna smell
kind of
some
a personality. Yeah,
yeah, you're gonna smell some nice flowers. Or you're gonna smell piss.
Yeah.
So for a time, he kept the box secure in an acacia wood arc line with 24 karat gold and stashed in his den, and he kept it in there like he felt like that kind of kept it trapped. But eventually recently he admitted that he ended up putting it up into a military grade shockproof container, and he buried it somewhere where it won't be discovered. It's well hidden, I guess, so nobody knows where it's at. Only he knows where it's at, I guess. And if he dies, I'm sure he's gonna take it to his grave, because I guess the thing had too many problems. I mean, it's just
because you give it to anybody, it just kind of fucks up their lives.
Exactly. I mean, the mom, she just had it for like a minute or two, and she had that stroke, and she was like, "Fuck this thing."
Yeah, I must have hated her.
Yeah, I mean,
like, fuck this bitch.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna fuck her up. She was a mean bitch. So, the next one I'm going to talk about is the Chair of Death. So I'm sure you heard of this one in Thirsk, England. So this one was in 1702. So the case of this one, the history of this is the Chair of Death was the favorite chair of Thomas Busby, who was convicted in 1702 for the murder of his father-in-law, Daniel Oddy, whom he supposedly strangled for sitting in his favorite chair after an argument. So they got in a fight. The father-in-law sat in his chair, and so he fucking strangled him to death.
Yeah, sounds like a strange news segment.
Yeah, I know. I know. But on his way to the gallows in 1702, he asked to stop by the pub and put a curse on his chair. So I guess the chair, they like put it in a pub, and he's like, "I'm gonna stop by there. Just give me one more chance before you kill me." So
it was like his last request.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so he's when he went there, he cursed it. I guess this is allegedly he cursed it, claiming that anyone who sat in it would be haunted and soon die. And it remained in the pub for centuries, and people dared not sit in it. But during World War II, like airmen from a nearby base, made the pub their hotspot, right? And the chair became a hot seat. People noticed that the ones who sat in it would never come back from the war. And so, yeah, and so 1967, 2 Royal Air Force pilots sat in it, and while driving back to their base, they crashed into a tree and died. A few years later, a bricklayer decided to try it, and that afternoon he fell to his death. So, allegedly, the cursed chair has apparently killed every person who sat in it, no matter what. Like in one instance, a roofer who sat in it, he died after the roof he was working on collapsed. A cleaning woman accidentally stumbled into it while she was mopping, and later died of a brain tumor.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, eventually the pub owner moved it into the basement, hoping that nobody was sitting in it. But, one day, like a delivery man, he was in the basement, he sat in it, and an hour later, he crashed his truck and died. So after the death, the landlord asked the local museum to take it. He's like, fuck this thing, this is... I'm not getting the right type of, positive...
I'm losing customers.
Yeah. This isn't good. And he also wanted to ensure that nobody else sat in it,
Yeah.
So they basically they hung it from the ceiling at like 5 feet above the ground, so nobody can sit in it.
Oh, I haven't seen a picture. Yeah, they have it hanging from.
Yeah, it's hanging.
By.
Yeah. But even though it's nobody, everyone's safe from sitting in it. There's new stories that come out about the chair's power. So. One local was told about a driver who had picked up an airman, and the airman asked to go to the bathroom, so they stopped at the Bisbee Stoop Inn. And while he was waiting, he sat in the chair, and when the airman didn't return, the driver left without him. So this angered the airman, and he made his way back to the base, and when he got back, the airman grabbed a building brick and smashed it in the head of the driver, killing him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it seems that, because the museum had made it nearly impossible for anybody sitting in it, the killing days are over. But, it's still in the museum, and it's still there as of December 2014. It said that any person again who sat in the chair experiences haunting experiences, and including extreme itching, paranoia, hearing things, confusion, items being moved, and written warnings on mirrors and walls until the person's imminent death. So don't fucking sit in there, man. That's all I gotta tell you.
So can you touch it? Well, apparently you can.
You can, I guess. It doesn't look like it's roped off or anything.
Oh.
But man, just I don't even know if I would do that.
I know. I'd be nervous. I don't think it's true, but I still wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't want to chance it. This is so stupid. I'm not even gonna do it. I'm not gonna give you the.
Goddamn ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so dumb. I'm not gonna sit in it. That's how sure of I am. Yeah, man. But it sounds like the track record of everyone sitting in it. And again, we don't know everything, but it sounds like a lot of people were dying from that fucking thing. I don't know if I'd want to do that.
I think a lot of it's probably just coincidence, and most of them are probably just stories.
Sure.
But if you pulled the chair out in front of me and said to dare me to sit on it, I would do it still.
You wouldn't do it?
No, because I was like,
yeah, this could be real, just in case it's real.
I don't just in case you never.
Nah. So I got a couple more. One of them, the next one I have is Robert the Doll. I think you've heard of this one.
I think I have heard this one.
Yeah, so Robert Eugene Otto, or they called him Gene, was a young boy in the early 1900s, and his family's maid gave him a strange straw-filled doll to play with, and he loved the doll and brought it along with him everywhere, even naming it Robert after himself. But before long, people began noticing signs of Robert the doll's evil and mischievous nature. So rumor had it that the Ottos and their servants would often hear Gene in his bedroom having conversations with himself in two entirely different voices. So the Ottos would wake up in the middle of the night, to Gene screaming, only to find the boy at the frightened in his bed, surrounded by overturned furniture. And Gene would blame Robert the doll for messing up the bedroom, while Robert would just glare at Gene from the foot of his bed. So when they came in, all the furniture's turned over. The boy's scared, in his bed, ah! And the doll's just at the end of his bed, just staring at him. So, soon after that, mutilated toys and mysterious happenings would appear in the home. Every time, Gene would be like, Robert did it. So they didn't. The family didn't believe Gene. They're like, this fucking boy is probably psycho, And so they reported that they could hear the eerie sound of Robert giggling around the house. And even somebody the mailman walking by claimed to seeing the small doll moving from window to window. So the family's like, all right, this is a little too creepy, so he was just put in the attic, and he remained there for a lot of years. But after the family died and Gene grew up, that the family's Key West mansion, he inherited it, and that's where the doll was. So Robert the doll returned to his old bedroom, on the second story where he used to be with Robert in his room. But at this time, Gene was now an artist. And the local folklore insists that Gene would spend his days alone in the mansion, painting with his old friend Robert. So almost like his paintings were probably by the hand of Robert, if not Robert's. That's what the folklore kind of was. So Gene eventually married, and there were many stories of how Gene's wife hated Robert. There was like rumors surfaced alleging that Gene's wife died from insanity after locking Robert in the attic, while other people said that Gene died with Robert by his side. So,
like mixed stories.
Yeah, they don't really know, but they feel like the doll's involved in all the stories. So today that old house, that residence operates as a bed and breakfast called the Artist House. And visitors can actually stay in that room, Robert's old room, or Gene's old room. But now that doll lives in Fort East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida, where some people believe that the hair color and his soul are both slowly fading. So they say that currently Robert's favorite mischievous act involves casting curses on those who take a photo of him without asking his permission. So, like, to this day, the walls near his glass are covered with numerous letters from previous visitors and naysayers begging for Robert's forgiveness and asking him to remove any hacks he has cast for taking pictures of him.
So you have to like go and ask.
I guess you have to.
Can I take
yeah,
a picture?
yeah.
Does he answer back or something? Or?
I don't know. I think maybe just a gesture of
Oh, just like hey, I'm gonna take a picture of you.
I'm gonna take a picture of. Is that okay? He's not gonna. I would hope he doesn't say yes.
I know it's like,
God damn it, no! Fucking sick of you people. If anyone's taking a picture, it's gonna be with that hot blonde in the corner.
Come on over, baby.
Yeah, put me on your lap. So it sounds like this. There's a lot of stories about that kid. Gene could have been crazy. He could have had split personalities.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, especially with having the conversations.
Yeah, two voices.
Like,
yeah, that could totally be. I mean, I'm not saying that's totally out of hand. The furniture tipped over, and then he can just acting like Robert did it. I mean, that whole shit's weird, man. I don't have you seen the doll? You've seen him online, right?
Well, there's a movie about him, I guess.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, in 2015 they made a movie.
What's it called?
It's called Robert.
It's just called Robert.
Yeah. I was looking to see if it was on. Oh, you can watch it with Prime on.
Oh, it's on Prime.
Yeah. Watch now on Prime.
Damn.
Came out in 2015.
I haven't even heard of that.
It didn't get very good ratings.
I was gonna say it probably. It's just called Robert.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
It's got like 2.5 stars out of 5.
Out of 50. No. Yeah, I can imagine it wouldn't be that good. They're gonna probably pin it to the kid being, maybe a little bit psychotic or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I kind of want to watch it now because it sounds interesting.
It does. I really want to know about that. I mean,
it reminds me of like the Raggedy Ann doll.
I know
the one from like was it a? Because in the movie The Conjuring they didn't use it, but didn't use the actual Raggedy Ann doll. But I remember that's what it was.
That Robert doll looks kind of scary to me.
It does, like the picture on the movie poster. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah,
I don't know why you would want that doll to
I
begin
don't know,
with.
man. I don't know.
It doesn't look like it. Like it doesn't look like a doll that you'd pick out. Like, oh,
I know.
That's what I want.
This is cute. No, like why would you choose this fucking doll? I want this doll to scare my friends. That's what they're mainly thinking. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't like that doll. It doesn't look like it would be cool. And usually, I mean, you don't generally give dolls to boys. I mean, I guess you could if you wanted, but
maybe it's an action figure doll.
I know that was a pre-G.I. Joe.
That's why he looks all war torn.
I know. So the last one I have is kind of a little bit. This one I think is a little bit weird because I'll tell you why. But this mobile phone number is 0888-888-888 is suspended after every user assigned to it dies.
Really?
Yeah, so as you know, there's hotels that don't have the number 13 or even the room number 13 because it's considered haunted and, inauspicious, right?
Oh.
So this Bulgarian number has been suspended forever after the company observed the pattern. So over a 10-year period, all owners who had it died. So the first owner was Vladimir Grashnov, the former CEO of the Bulgarian mobile phone company Mobitel, which issued the number, died of cancer in 2001 at the age of 48. Okay. So despite spotless business record, there was persistent rumors that this cancer had been caused by a business rival using radioactive poisoning. Fair enough. That could have happened. But the jinx number then passed to Bulgarian mafia boss Konstantin Dimitrov. And he was gunned down in 2003 by a lone assassin in the Netherlands during a trip to inspect a 500 million pound drug smuggling empire.
Oh, shit.
So Dimitrov, who died at the age of 31, had the mobile with him when he was shot while eating out with a beautiful model. So the Russian mafia bosses, jealous of the drug smuggling operation, were said to have been behind the killing. So the phone number then passed to the crooked businessman Konstantin Dishliev. And then he was gunned down outside of an Indian restaurant in Bulgaria's capital, Sofia, in 2005 after taking over the Jinx line. So the estate agent of Dishliev had secretly been running a massive cocaine trafficking operation before his assassination. So he died after 130 million pounds of drugs was intercepted by police on its way into the country from Colombia. So since then, the number is understood to have been dormant while police maintain an open file on Dishliev's killing in the smuggling ring. So now the spooked phone bosses are said to have suspended the number, which from an international line is plus 359 and then all those 8s. They suspended it for good. So now people, when they call that number, they get recorded messages saying the phone is outside of network coverage. So they contacted the Mobitel spokesman, and they contacted the company, and the spokesman said, quote, "We have no comment to make. We won't discuss individual numbers," unquote. So to me, this number seems like all these gangsters had it, Like,
I know they're just gonna die.
Yeah,
they all got the clamps.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm wondering if they would have given it to like maybe a janitor or.
I know he'd probably live a little bit longer.
Maybe they gave it to like a seamstress or something. It would have been okay, but it's. I mean, I think that is a little bit weird that everyone died. Especially the first guy. I mean, I know you can die of cancer, but
yeah. Well, one thing is weird is like they kept giving it to like drug lords.
That's what I'm saying. Now I don't know if they knew that they were giving it to drug lords. I mean,
I know, but that's kind of a weird coincidence,
I know drug lords kept getting it and kept getting gunned down.
It's like it's on the form, like when you sign.
I know.
Are you a drug lord?
Yeah. Yes, it's yours. I know that is the weird thing that all drug lords had it. I mean, like why wasn't it falling to a janitor or seamstress or like a cook, right?
Some old lady that
they just got
has
into
100 cats.
Yeah, exactly. It was going to people that were like, in racketeering and all that type of shit,
No, people that live don't live that long anyway.
Yeah, why were they getting the number?
I don't know. Maybe that's like a government conspiracy where they give that number and
they know that person's gonna die.
They know that person's gonna die, or they know how to kill him off because
we don't want to arrest them and deal with the courts. Let's just have him killed. Give him the number. It's cursed.
Or maybe
right. Maybe they know that
it's like a cell phone number. Maybe it's like a way to track them
somehow. But everyone who gets it, man, they end up dying.
Yeah. That is really weird.
I think so too. I mean, like again, to me, I feel like everyone who had it, were putting themselves in a higher risk to die. But it's weird that everyone who got it was part of that type of crime. I thought that was kind of weird. But again, the people felt like it was too much of a coincidence that they just fucking banned that.
I'll just stop this business now.
Yeah, we're done. Fuck it.
Speaking of being done, we're coming to the end of the program. So have a good morning, evening, or night, and we'll see you next week. Until then, stay strange.
Stay strange, everyone. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you enjoy the show, please go to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you're listening, and please give us a good rating. If you want to share a story or have ideas for a future episode, you're welcome to visit us at www.thestrangepodcast.com. We look forward to hearing from you.